Hey everyone, so it has been a very long time since I have done a video. I had planned to do an update on my pregnancy every 2 weeks, and a lot of stuff has kind of happened since then, so I thought I would just maybe fill you in really quickly and then do a maternity haul, because I feel like that's just what I do on this channel, is a bunch of hauls. So anyways, tomorrow I will be 34 weeks pregnant, which is crazy because my last video I did on here, I'm not exactly sure when that was. It was a while ago, so a lot has happened since then. I had planned to do videos like back to back, like I had told you I was going to, but when I went to a doctor's appointment, they had told me that something was wrong with the baby. Well, okay, let's go back a little bit. So at your 20-week anatomy scan, you go in and they measure the baby and they check all kinds of things for you and everything, and just make sure that everything's like going right. Well, they did all that. It's like an hour and like a half ultrasound, so it's a really long ultrasound. And so we got all that done and stuff, and you don't, like, well, at least my hospital, they don't give you results back right away. So usually you have, like, if there's something that's abnormal or anything, like, the doctor will call and, basically let you know. So, hi. Kai. Come here, wanna say hi? We're trying to get him to go to bed, but he's just gonna be a little trooper. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
So, anyways, we did the ultrasound and everything was going good, or so I thought. And then the way it worked is I had my anatomy scan, and then like 3 days later I was scheduled for just a regular prenatal appointment. So I had totally spaced the prenatal appointment, so I didn't think anything of it until like I got my reminder text. And Joe, he had to work because we didn't talk about taking it off because I just didn't think I had an appointment. And then usually like my mom will go with me or something, but she had to work on that day too, so I don't even know why I had scheduled it on that day. So I'm like, it's fine. It's just a prenatal appointment. Like, I'll just go by myself. It's going to be like a 5-minute appointment, and it's like not going to be a big deal at all. So I go down there, which the hospital that I go to is about like an hour away from where I live. So I drive all the way down there and wait like 40 minutes in the room, because I don't know if it was because they were backed up on something or...
Ow.
Oh, what happened? It's right here. I don't know if it's because they were like backed up on something or that, I don't know. Basically, it was just a mess from when I got there, okay? So I'm like, okay, I'm waiting in the room. The doctor comes in, and she's not my doctor. She's just like one of the doctors that like just do the checkups and all that kind of stuff. So she goes, oh, did your doctor call you about your anatomy scan results? And I was like, no. And so she was like, okay, well, I'm looking at your charts here, and she's like, and by now, we should see fingers on the baby. And she's like, and when the lady was doing the ultrasound, she couldn't see any. So like that right there is like the most craziest thing to ever hear. I mean, like, I don't know, it's really crazy. And so I'm by myself, and she tells me this, and it wasn't quite registering at first. Like, I was just so shocked that I was just like, wait, what? So, and then she goes, and then where the spine is, she's like, usually it's supposed to be like sealed off at the end. Well, she said that it was open and that like nerves were exposed. So that is just like, I'm sitting there and I'm by myself, and like I said, you think like getting news like that you would just like break down and like start crying, but I had like no time. Like I mean, like, so many things were going through my head that I literally was just like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, how could this be going wrong? Like, I've had appointments, I've had ultrasounds, like, I don't understand, like, why just now this is being caught. And if all these things are wrong with the baby, then, like, how come nobody's called me to tell me, like, hey, this is what's been going on? So, I'm like, I try to ask her questions about, like, what's going on and everything, and, like, what does she mean? Because I haven't heard anything from it. So I try to like ask questions about it, and she's basically just like not answering them, and is just like, oh, okay, so like let's measure your stomach and all this stuff, and I'm just like, you can't just tell me something's wrong with the baby and then just be like, okay, yeah, but the doctor will get to you about it. So I was just mind blown. And then she tells me that I have to go downstairs to radiology and make myself a doctor's appointment to have a second anatomy scan done, which blows my mind because I'm like, so you're telling me that something's wrong with my baby, you have no answers for me as to like what's going on, nobody's called me, and I have to go downstairs to make my own appointment. So I was just like just ready to get out of there. So she measures my stomach and she's just like, oh, okay, everything's looking about right, but I'm just obviously have a lot going through my head. So I go downstairs, I'm like sick to my stomach, and I go to radiology and they're like, oh, well, we're a little backed up in our system, so we can't get you in for another 2 weeks. And this is back in like October, because the only appointment they had available was on my birthday, which was the 18th of October. So, are you tired?
Milk.
It's out there in the living room. Wanna go get it? So they have the 18th. So I'm just ready to get out of there. So I'm like, fine, that's fine. Just book me for the 18th. I knew that like obviously I was gonna get answers before then because there's no way I can go that long. Just not knowing, like I don't understand. So it was just a huge mess. So I literally felt nauseous. Like I was so sick. I couldn't cry. Like I had this really like sharp pain in my chest and I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. Like I was just so shocked and so scared, and I was by myself, and it was just a lot going through my head. So I didn't cry until I got to the parking lot and I had called Joe, and I literally just broke down and I was bawling hysterical in the parking lot, and I was just like, something's wrong with the baby. And of course he's at work, so he's like, what do you mean something's wrong with the baby? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, and I told him everything that they had said, and he even said it himself, was just like, how can all these things be wrong? Like, they're just now catching him. Like, because we've had issues in the past before, so we have to go to a genetics ultrasound anyways, and that's when they should have really caught those kind of things, is because like they really look into those. So I was already being treated as like a what's it called, like a high risk patient basically. So it's not just like they had missed it, you know what I mean? Like it would just be really hard to miss something that serious. Like, so then I call my mom and I tell my mom, and she says the same thing, like there's no way, like, you know, I can't believe this is happening. So I was just like so upset. So I have to drive an hour home by myself back. So I'm like crying the whole freaking way, and it just makes me so upset because I'm just like, why would they even tell a pregnant person, like, you know, that kind of bad news when they know that she's by herself? And for one, she's not even my doctor, you know, like you think that like you would leave that, like if I asked somebody like, oh, have you heard your results back from your doctor? And they said no. Obviously, I'm not just gonna go and be like, oh, okay, well, by the way, and then tell them all this bad news and be like, okay, well, have a nice drive back home. Like, it was just the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen ever. So I go home and I couldn't sleep that night, and I waited 2 days until I was like, I need answers. Like, I can't just be like, oh, okay, well, we'll just wait until the ultrasound and find out what had happened or what was going on or whatever. So I call the hospital and I tell them like, you know, I would like to hear my results back from my anatomy scan. And they're like, okay, well, it should take about 2 business days and we'll have someone get back to you. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I'm like hysterical. I can't sleep. I don't want to eat, which is bad because I'm pregnant, and it's like I'm already so stressed out on top of like what they're telling me that it's probably definitely not good for the baby. So I just didn't know what to think. I didn't know what was going on, you know, and then that's right around the same time I was supposed to be doing my updates. And obviously with like not knowing what was going to be going on, I just wasn't in the mood to be doing updates because I just didn't know what was going to happen. So I was just really upset. So I'm like, okay, so I prayed literally to God, like that I would get answers, that somebody would call me back, that everything was going to be okay. And sure enough, like an hour and a half later, I got a phone call from Stockton, which is like a little farther away than where I go to the doctors. Where I go to the doctors is in Modesto. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that area, but So I get a call from Stockton, and she's like, "Hi, this is so-and-so. I'm calling to give you your results back from your anatomy scan." So I automatically am already so stressed out that I'm like, okay, like, let me just explain to you, like, the experience that I've had and, like, what's going on and all this stuff. So she's like, okay, which probably threw her off because I probably kind of sounded like a little psychotic. But, I mean, I was going through a lot, you know, and so I tell her the whole story and everything. And she's like, I don't know why she would ever say that. She's like, because here in your record, she says, it says nothing about you having those things, or that the baby did not have those things. Like, for example, when she was like, oh, you know, by now your baby should have fingers, and the lady didn't see any. She said it says nothing about that. She's like, all it does say is that, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but, okay, so my cord that's connected to the placenta is supposed to be in the middle, but it's marginal, which means that it's like off to the side, which can mean like the bag that obviously the baby gets all its nutrients from and everything. If it's off to the side, sometimes that means that the nutrients aren't going all the way through. So when it's not going all the way through, then baby can not grow right, or it can cause like just basically the whole process of baby developing, like it would be much more difficult. So she's like, they did say that like that's something that they caught in the ultrasound, was that like your cord is off to the side. But she's like, you know, that's a like common thing. It's not common, but for something to go wrong in a pregnancy, like it is common, and it's not like life-threatening to you or the baby, especially when they can like see it, you know, early in the pregnancy and everything. So I'm like, are you serious? Like, the doctor had seriously told me these things are wrong. Like, I had a freaking hysterical breakdown. I've been stressed out, not even freaking barely eating for like 2 days, and all of that was just something that she had just like misread. Like, how do you misread? Like, it's one thing like if you just skim through some stuff and you leave stuff out, but to like go and say all these like crazy things that like, oh, this is wrong with the baby, this is wrong with the baby. I was just like, how does one even do that? Like, I was so upset. So I'm like telling her, like, you promised me. I'm like, you promise that, you know, it says nothing about, you know, these things being wrong. And she was like, no, all it says is that, you know, your cord is off to the side, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, back. So sorry about that. My phone died, and Kai fell asleep, and I had to put him to bed. So anyways, I just basically was on the phone with her, and she reassured me that none of all that stuff that the doctor had said was not like they were not for sure written down in the reports as something being wrong. So basically, I had just freaked myself out. Well, this doctor had freaked me out and told me these things were wrong with the baby when they were not for sure wrong. So I didn't understand. So, you know, I told her my whole situation, and I was like, they told me I had to wait to get my results back and all this stuff. And she was like, no, like, we want you to come down here to Stockton, like, we'll take care of you here, and, you know, we want to do your ultrasound, that way we can make sure it's done right. So I'm like, okay, cool. So, she made me an appointment, which was for, like, 3 days later, I think, which was a while to wait, but I mean, like, it was a lot sooner than I had thought I was going to get in, and so I was just, you know, she told me to take it easy, don't stress yourself out. She's like, I'm sure everything's fine. She's like, people get called back for second anatomy scans all the time. She's like, all it was that, you know, we just couldn't see things clearly, and we can't just be like, oh, okay, well, we didn't see all the fingers, but we can just guarantee that they're all there and we're not going to worry about it. Or, you know, we didn't get a picture of the end of the spine that good, but it's fine because everything's okay. They have to just, you know, they're there to do those pictures to make sure that these things are checked so you can know if something is wrong. So I was like, okay. So then I waited, and I went down to the doctor's appointment. They did my second anatomy scan, and everything was fine. All of that, all of the crying, all of the stress, all of that, and my baby is completely healthy. They said he is measuring up to like normal size. They did say that my cord is off to the side, but that baby is right on track. So basically, it's not a problem right now. Like, it's not an issue. The baby's growing as he should be, which means he's getting nutrients, and everything's fine. Baby has all his fingers, which is not a huge thing. I mean, obviously that is something that is like a big deal. You know what I mean? That's something that every mom worries about and everything. But I mean, it was just the fact of something being told that like something was wrong with my child, and I just can't even stomach the feeling of like when you get news like that, it's just so horrible, and I just feel like I'm so upset with the way that, like, you know, it was handled and like how she had told me those things, and I still don't understand where she was getting her information from. We had got asked if we wanted to like make a report on her, and you know, basically, and I mean, honestly, like I felt like I should have, because you know, the last thing that I ever wanted to hear was that, and then for it to turn out not to even be true, it's like how much stress that put on me. So you're putting so much stress on like a pregnant person. It's like, you know, that could cause them to go into premature labor, or they could lose the baby if they're being told something's wrong like way early in the pregnancy. So many things can go wrong. I just feel like it wasn't her place to say anything, and she probably shouldn't have. But anyways, on to better things, more happier things. Ronan is completely healthy. I've had several appointments afterwards. He is growing right on track. My cord's actually not as bad as they had thought it was, so that's good. But yes, everything's fine. I mean, as for like more like symptoms that I have right now, because tomorrow I'll be 34 weeks, really, really, really bad heartburn. I've been feeling nauseous in the mornings, which is really weird because I feel like you feel that in your first trimester, but I feel like it's almost coming back now. So I'm not too enthused with that. It's not bad. It's just like right when I wake up in the mornings, I feel like a little bit like sick to my stomach, and then which makes it hard to eat in the morning because I'm already not a big morning eater because I get sick. Even like before I was pregnant, like I've just always skipped breakfast, which I know is horrible. I'm not saying like something great to be proud of or something, but I've always kind of skipped out on it just because it makes me sick. So being pregnant, I try to make sure I eat something. Well, it has to be later on, like a later breakfast, because it really will make me super sick. Yeah, so really bad heartburn. Trying to think of some other things. It's so hard. Pregnancy is so weird. Like I feel like I have all these things in my mind, and I was like, oh yeah, like I'll mention like that's something that's new that's happened, but I mean, really, like, it's just day-by-day stuff that's kind of just, like, the same, you know? Like, I mean, I had my baby shower last weekend, and it was a really good turnout. I posted some pictures on Instagram. I don't know if you follow me on there. If not, then you should. Yeah, so I had the baby shower, and now we're just kind of spending the time with Kai that we have, like, with just us, and trying to set up the room. Another update is I had told you in a couple videos before that we were looking for a new house, because we wanted to have more room, and I was just bored of this place, and yeah, so we actually made the decision to stay where we are. So currently we live in a 2-bedroom house, and it's a smaller house. Like, it's definitely not like some huge extravagant house, but it's nice and cozy, and rent is, you know, we get a really good deal on our rent here, and our landlords are like super sweet and, you know, really genuine people. And we made the decision to stay because between moving but while being pregnant, you have Christmas, and Kai's birthday's in January, 2 days after my due date. So, I mean, it's just already been so crazy. I was planning a baby shower. I was just like, it's probably best that we don't move during this time. So, the boys will share a room. But, you know, when Ronan is born, obviously he's going to be sleeping in mine and Joe's room in his bassinet. So, it's not like he's just going to be sleeping in the room, but a mom, you know, you have to like set up their space because it's like the whole part of nesting. So even though they're not going to sleep in that crib, you want to still set the crib up and everything. But it works out perfect because they're just going to share a bedroom, and I have it to where both of their themes kind of like go together, and I will be doing a room tour of their room to show you guys everything. And I have a couple products that I want to show you that I have received and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so we're staying in our house that we were in, and the boys will share a bedroom. I'm still working, which some people think is crazy. Like at work, I'm a waitress, so you know, they're like, when are you gonna go on maternity leave? And I'm like, oh yeah, like it's almost like I keep forgetting that eventually I have to have this baby. But obviously I don't forget. But I mean, like, I forget that, like, you know, I only have like 6 weeks to go, which is like nothing. It's so crazy to me how fast this pregnancy has literally flown by that it just blows my mind. I really don't have that much time to get things ready, and it is kind of like freaks me out a little bit because I'm like, I have like Christmas, I have to get the rest of the baby stuff, and then I have Kai's birthday, and I really hope that they have their own birthdays because I know that if I was, you know, if I shared the same birthday as my sister, it would probably not be that great. I don't know. Maybe there's some of you out there that share a birthday. Let me know below if you do and how that is, or if you have kids that share the same birthday and how you work that out, because I just feel like with Ronan, like Kai will be turning 3 when Ronan is born. So it's like you have like a first birthday, which is a huge birthday. I don't know. I just don't know how we would collide everything together. But yeah, I guess that's it. I was going to do the haul, which I had mentioned in the beginning of this video, but I think I'm going to make a whole separate video for this one because this one has dragged on and I don't want this video to be too long, even though it already is going to be. But yeah, so I'll do a haul in a different video, and I'm going to try to keep you posted up until I have Ronan now, because I have many things in mind. Like I want to do a diaper bag, not review, but like a hospital bag. No, it's not a tour. What the heck is it? A hospital? What's in my hospital bag? There you go. Bing. Okay, so anyways, I guess I will show you. I'm in sweatpants, so please don't judge me. Okay, I'm in sweatpants like 98% of the time now. But I'll go ahead and show you my stomach. So this is, well, all my tank tops, this is how it goes. They just like don't fit me anymore. This is 34 weeks pregnant, which I have gotten way huge than the last time I've done videos. But he's starting to feel super, super heavy, and I get lots of pressure like down here. And so, yeah, but so this is it. 34 weeks. This is with my shirt. And I was a lot bigger with Kai when I was pregnant, which is really weird because I feel like they're both boys, so they say like, oh, if you have a girl, you're carrying this way. If you have a boy, you're gonna carry this way. And I've had 2 boys, and this one is like way smaller. Like my stomach and everything is like completely different size and everything. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of fill you all in and catch you up. I know a lot of you comment on my Instagram really sweet things and kind of wondering where I went and why I'm MIA on YouTube, but just been going through some things, and everything's great though. Everything's fine. Everyone here is happy and healthy, and we are anticipating the arrival of Ronan and trying to prepare and get him ready. Let me know any videos that you'd like to see down below, and thumbs up this video if you would like to see the what's in my hospital bag. But until then, I will be probably posting another video in the next day or 2 about the haul, the maternity haul that I wanted to share with you about from Pink Blush. So yeah, but it was good to catch up with you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!